Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about a report and hiring practices and confirmation bias and how to avoid it. And I'm going to take you through something that happened to me. Confirmation bias is something that everybody experiences. Everybody wants to confirm what they already believe. There are no real exceptions to that. What you believe to be right and good and true, you want that proven to be right and good and true. So when you see something that suggests what you already believe is accurate, most times you look a little bit into it. That process of confirmation bias is something that can lead people into information silos. It can lead people to believe things that are objectively false. So, I'm going to take you through something that happened, and you can see how to guard yourself against falling too far for confirmation bias. On this channel, a number of times I have talked about how I believe that a lot of the bias that the LGBTQ community experiences stems from people whose life experience included two boxes, right? It included two boxes. Boys do this, girls do this. Anything outside of that is a deviation, and it makes them uncomfortable because it's unknown, and the unknown causes fear. The fear can be played on and create bigotry. Okay? It's something that I believe. I see a headline that says non-binary people experience discrimination when it comes to their resumes. And then other headlines were like those who use they, them pronouns are less likely to get a call back. So this is something that's particularly interesting to me because part of that belief also stems to the way people's morality interacts with it. When it comes to non-binary people, there's not a massive, oh, that's immoral thing going on. It's just different. It's something that a lot of people didn't experience, at least not in the way it is recognized today. It wasn't really classified as an identity. It was, oh, well, she's just a tomboy type of thing. And it didn't go beyond that. Anything that stepped too far outside of that, well then, again, it becomes a deviation. People viewed it as strange. So studies and information about non-binary people, it's something that I look into a little bit more because it doesn't have that moral component. It's just outside of these people's life experience. Okay, so basically what the report shows is that when people had they, them on their resume as their pronouns, they were 8% less likely to get a call back. Okay? That tracks with what I believe. That's how I expect this bias to play out, right? But as I start looking into it, what I find is that they didn't test it with the pronouns of he, him, or she, her. It was just they, them, or no pronouns listed. So, does this report actually show that non-binary people experience this? Specifically non-binary people? Or does what it really show is that hiring managers are less likely to call people back if they have their pronouns listed? There was no tests about he, him, she, her. Those weren't included in the resumes that were sent out. It was just they, them, or no pronouns. You really can't, based on this study alone, you really can't, you can't make that call. You can't say that this is something that is directed at non-binary people. It could just be directed at people with pronouns. The information isn't there. It confirms what I believe, but that's not really what the information shows. Now, in a weird way, it still kind of confirms what I believe, but to a much lesser degree. Hiring managers tend to be older. The presence of pronouns, that's relatively new, something outside of the norm. Unknown induces fear. And what would the fear be? Oh, if I say something wrong, this person will sue us. That type of stuff. So it's still there, but it doesn't actually show what I thought it was going to when I first started looking into it. And why did I first start looking into it? Why did the headline grab my attention? Because it confirmed what I already believed. So I started looking into it. If you just read the article, you don't dig deeper, or you just read the headline, you're going to walk away believing that this is something specific to non-binary people. That's not really what it shows. Now, you could combine this study with other studies, and I'm pretty sure that's what it would show. But that's not what's printed. That's not what's in the discussions that are out there right now. So, this obviously leads to the questions. Does that mean you shouldn't put your pronouns on there because you're 8% less likely to get a call back? No. If you're applying for your dream job and you're trying to get every possible edge, yeah, maybe you forget to include them on that one. But generally speaking, you're talking about 8%. It's big enough to notice. It's definitely an issue, but it's not massive. And it's also worth remembering that you probably don't want to work for them anyway. So unless it's a job that is incredibly important to you, I would still put them on there. And if you are somebody who lines up neatly, you might want to start putting your pronouns on your resume. Even if you are 100% in the box of this is how it's always been, I don't need my pronouns. If you start putting them on there, this unknown, it goes away, which means the fear goes away. So I hope that helps. Like, as I'm explaining it, it seems a little bit more convoluted than it was in my head when I started the video. But the key element to avoiding confirmation bias and falling for bad information is to basically assume it's always going to be wrong and continue to check, look further into it than just a headline or just the first few paragraphs. Because you may find something that kind of renders the take of the author of the article or whatever as wrong. Or in this case, not really wrong, but just not complete. Because without testing he, him, and she, her, it doesn't actually link it to non-binary people. It just links it to the presence of pronouns. Okay, so I hope that helps. That same practice of just going deeper into it. Start with the headline, read the article, then read the source material. It's a very good guard against falling for and consuming bad information. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.